Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Gotta bring it down a little. Right there. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Brina Show, the show where life, family, and fun all exist. I'm Brina, and today I'm going to be talking about my, I'm going to be doing a story time. So, basically, we're going to do two parts to my story time. One part's going to be Cameron, and then another part's going to be Julian. Ready? One part's going to be about Cameron, and one part's going to be about Julian. Cameron wanted to tell you guys a little bit about his toys, so he's actually going to be in this video. I'm going to pop that up right here.
Welcome to a video.
Okay.
And today,
My polka dot pups. Yeah?
Purple pups, I mean.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Name all of them. Show them, baby.
I can't find the
Where's
Sky.
Okay, we'll find Sky in a second. Sky's, I think, in Grandma's room. Who's this?
We can't find Guy in Grandma's room.
She probably went underneath Grandma's bed. Who's this one?
Marshall.
Marshall, and who's in here? Who's this?
Rocky.
Rocky, right? Who's this?
Chase.
Chase.
Oh,
And who's this?
Gilma.
Zuma, right? What kind of rescue are you going to go on? They're going to rescue who?
Ryder.
They're going to rescue Ryder?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Thank you for watching my video. Welcome to big things up. See you next time.
I hope you liked that little clip of Cameron, because he was really excited to do that. And I just had to talk him through it because he's really never done a video before. So I just wanted to help him. He was super excited, as you guys can tell. But we were missing two of his pups, so he's kind of bummed. So that's why he didn't want to do a video anymore, because he wanted to go rescue Ryder, but he doesn't have Rubble and Sky to help them out with the rescue. And I sound like I'm part of the rescue because I'm currently trying to play with him at the same time, do a video. Basically, I got pregnant with Cameron at 19 years old. I just got out of high school, so I got pregnant about a month after. I got pregnant about a month after I got out of school. So me and my mom, we were into a shelter because me and Anthony weren't living together at the time, and I didn't know I was pregnant. So I found out I was pregnant I'd say I was about 8 weeks. And at that time, it was already August, and me and my mother had moved into our own house. At this time, Anthony was living with us, but the living arrangements really wasn't working out. So we had to move back to his grandmother's house, which was amazing because we got to live together after I got pregnant with my son. Basically got pregnant and really had nothing going for me. I didn't have schooling, I didn't have a trade, I didn't have a job, I didn't have nothing. Anthony was working at the time, but it wasn't really like a really good paying job, so he actually decided at the same thing with me, that after the baby was born, we would both go back to school for a trade. So me and Anthony started living together, and I was about, I'd say, 5 months pregnant. Before I was 5 months pregnant, me and Anthony was not living together, so it was really hard for him to go to doctor's appointments with me and stuff like that. We didn't know what we were having up until we told his dad and his family. His dad and his family were a little, skeptical about it, afraid, and they were understanding, and, they took me in like that was their own family. Right, you were ecstatic, babe, about having your first child as a boy?
Yeah.
Like I was saying, Anthony was ecstatic about having a boy for our first child, so we actually started picking out names before we knew what we were having. We really didn't have any girls' names, but
I only make boys. This one's gonna come out as a boy.
yeah, no, it's not. Anyway, like I was saying, so Cameron wasn't a name we picked. his name was going to be Harrison.
No.
Yep, Harrison, Jared.
Broden.
Harrison, Broden, and Jared. Those are 3 names we picked. At my baby shower, we had the aunts. We had two aunties there. So they chose...
2 aunties?
Yeah, we called them Auntie. Auntie Cheyenne.
Aunties?
Auntie
You
Cheyenne.
said aunties.
Yeah, Auntie Cheyenne and your sister.
You're gonna have to buy her an ant mountain.
No. Auntie Cheyenne, they chose what his name was going to be. And they actually picked out of a hat, and they both picked Broden. So Broden was the name we picked. And we were like, Broden, John, and his nickname was going to be BJ, and this and that. And like, it didn't click for me until basically I was in labor. So let's fast forward to labor. My pregnancy was healthy.
Let's get back
The whole
to the video.
pregnancy was healthy with Cameron. It was completely healthy, and there was no there was no issues.
Oh yeah, they really want to see that face.
And then deleted. There was no issues up until I went to the hospital the day of me getting induced. I went in for contractions and I was bleeding. I wasn't bleeding. I had my mucus plug expel, and I had sex the day before to basically help labor. And we were staying at my mom's, which her house is closer to the hospital than here, and my mother-in-law and everybody was there when I was going to call them when we got there. So, get off camera. Your tablet's in Grandma's room. If you want your tablet, go get it.
And I want my tablet.
Okay. So when I got to the hospital, they said that I was 2.5 centimeters dilated, and I think they said 50% effaced. That's when the uterine wall is basically thinning out and the uterus is opening. So I was about 2.5 centimeters dilated at that point. They said they were going to send me home, but protocol, they have to check your blood pressure before you leave. And that's exactly what they did. When they checked my blood pressure, I don't know what happened. Before I was ready to leave, they had to check my blood pressure. And it's protocol. They have to check your blood pressure. So literally 15 minutes, 20 minutes before that, they had the cuff on me already because they're supposed to check it every 15, 20 minutes. 15, 20 minutes before that, my blood pressure was absolutely fine. So, like I was saying, the blood pressure was 120-something over 60-something. I don't exactly remember it, but when they checked it when I was about to leave, get discharged, my blood pressure skyrocketed to 180 over 87. And then they're like, okay, this is a sign. We need to stop for a second. We need to not discharge you right away. We're going to check your blood pressure again in another 15, 20 minutes. So 15, 20 minutes go, and I feel the cuff. I basically feel the cuff start to fill up. So I rested my arm like they taught me to do, and like they told me to do. And what happened was blood pressure rocketed again over. It was 210 over 206. That is a very, very dangerous blood pressure number to have. It can cause you to get a stroke. It can cause you to basically have a heart attack. It can cause you to have seizures and stuff like that. So with Cam, they were afraid. So they had me do a urine sample. The reason why they have you do a urine sample is if you have protein in the urine, you have preeclampsia. And that's exactly what preeclampsia is. You have high blood pressure and you have protein in the urine. And that's exactly what happened. I had preeclampsia really bad. With every blood pressure, my blood pressure was skyrocketing. And the highest it met was 220 over 220. I think 220. Actually, yeah. Because I remember both numbers were a really high amount. And they started giving me a mag drip. They gave me medication to help my blood pressure. They gave me medication to basically prevent me from getting seizures, which they thought that I had a blank stare seizure. That's when, you don't realize where you are. You just stare into space and stuff like that. So that's what they were afraid. They were afraid that I got one, so they just started giving me medicine for seizures. They gave me medicine just to prevent me from getting a stroke. I was on all these medications, and they said if I didn't have Cameron out when I did, I would have had to go C-section. I went into I got induced with the Pitocin and everything. I got a Foley catheter and everything as well. But the Pitocin started at 11:30 at night, so 11:30 p.m. Contractions really didn't affect me. I'm gonna say I had the epidural though, but I never used it. The only time I pushed it was when I was very, very uncomfortable, and that was basically like back labor and stuff, when I was having bad cramping in the back. But that's all I had. There was no like, oh my god, like I'm gonna kill my husband for getting me pregnant. Like, I never felt like that. It was an easy breeze with Cameron. Cameron was born that next morning at 11:08 in the morning. He weighed 6 pounds, 6 ounces, 19 and a half inches long, and he was the most... I've never seen a child look exactly like a monkey. I'm serious. You're laughing at me. Have you ever seen a child look like literally a monkey?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like he did?
Yeah.
With his lips like...
Yeah.
Literally.
Yes.
When?
With Cameron.
You're fucking awesome. I did try to, after he was born, you know, he was healthy, but, you know, the one thing I hate is that he inherited my lungs, and he inherited my bad immune system, and I tried my hardest to keep his immune system up. I tried, you know, vitamins. I tried immune system developer, not developer, but like a pill that helps your immune system. You know, I tried everything, but this kid would not stay healthy. After about a month old, you know, he would just get sick and sick and sick. He was sick every 2 weeks with something new. He was either having an ear infection, the flu. He caught bronchiolitis. He had pneumonia. He had croup 30 times. He had over 38 ear infections in both ears. His asthma was horrible. He had to be hospitalized 3 times just because of his asthma, and all 3 times were over 2 weeks. One time his fever got so high that they were afraid that he was going to have a how do you say it, babe?
Febrile.
There you go. I can't say it. It's Febile. Fever. That's when your fever is too high and you basically have seizures. And I was, you know, he was my heart attack baby. I'm always worried about him, always getting sick. But last year in December he got tubes put in, and ever since then, and his adenoids out, and ever since then, he has not gotten sick once. I'd say he had a cold. That's it. But I was able to kick it in the butt, and he was fine. I'd say, 24 hours later, right? The only thing he needed, though, was his treatments after the tubes, right?
Yeah,
and
when it starts to, like, snow and stuff.
Yeah, when it starts to get really, really cold is the bad time for Cam. Is like, you know, Cam is my, you know, like I said, my heart attack baby. He gives me heart attacks every single winter because I'm so attached to this kid. I'm attached to my other child too, but I'm so attached to this kid because how many medical problems he has, and I'm just afraid, you know. But only time will tell. He was good right after getting the tubes put in, so which I'm extraordinarily happy about. You know, he has not gotten sick. He has not caught the flu, thank God. You know, and when he was younger, between that time that he got sick so many times, you know, we were never out. We never went out, really. You know, we mainly went to my mother's house and Lisa's house, that's it. You know, those are the 2 places we went. Or we went to hang out with my friend Sam, you know, and we were always inside when it was cold. So, and when we were outside, he was always bundled up. So it's not like, you know, oh my God, how can you have your child sick that many times? Oh, you're not caring for him properly. No, it can happen. And I literally, the way I am, my kids will have sniffles and like a cough, and I'll be like, Anthony, we gotta go to the doctor, because I'm always on top of when they're sick, because I was so sick when I was little. You know, I was in the hospitals nonstop, same as Cam, and I'm just afraid with my kids. So that's Cameron's part. Now we're gonna go to Julian. I got pregnant with Julian when I was 22. I actually got pregnant in the same exact month I got pregnant with Cameron. Okay? Julian, actually, I knew it was a boy, but I was hoping for a girl. I really was. But I got my little Jules. And his name had always been Julian. It wasn't always the first name, because we were going to name him Jeremiah Julian or Julian Jeremiah. But when I got pregnant with him, I was totally healthy throughout the whole entire pregnancy. The only time that I was sick during Julian's pregnancy was I got pneumonia. And being pregnant at 27 weeks, you can't get x-rays unless you sign against your will, basically. And that's giving radiation to the baby. And I'm not into that. Like, if I know it's going to hurt the baby or jeopardize the baby, I won't do it. I wouldn't even take medication. Benadryl I won't take during pregnancies. Sometimes I'm a little iffy with Tylenol. Like, I've been in pain for a couple weeks now, and I still haven't taken any Tylenol. So, you know, I'm just very cautious during pregnancy. So they said with the symptoms I was having, the way I was breathing, Daddy, he's calling you. He's telling you about Blaze on. The way I was breathing, they said that it sounded like boiling water, if that makes sense. Because pneumonia is water in the lungs. Both sides of the chest they listened to, and they said there was more so water on this side, but when they listened to this side, they also heard the boiling water. And it basically sounds like crackling, like pops. And that's exactly what happened with Julian. I got pneumonia, so I had to sit in the hospital for 2 to 3 days, just so that the antibiotic would kick in. And I was fine after that. My fever, I had a fever too. My fever was over, 104, which is not good with a fetus in your belly. But he was healthy. He was fine. They monitored him and everything. And, everything went well after that. Everything was fine. I think I lost my mucus plug 3 days before I went into labor with Joel. Julian, more so, it wasn't preeclampsia on why they sent me in. I did have a little bit amount of protein in my urine. Yeah, my blood pressure was elevated, but the highest it ever went was 180/80. So that was good. What happened with Julian, why they sent, I actually went in for a doctor's appointment. My best friend brought me to my best friend's boyfriend and she brought her kids along, brought me to the doctor, and they basically said, I'll drop you off and we'll come back for you to bring you basically home. And I went into the doctor's office like a regular checkup, and I went in for a sonogram. Now, I did not know this because this has never happened with Cameron. With your baby, after I think they said 32 weeks, you're supposed to have 10 movements in 2 hours. And, or at least 5 in 1. I wasn't having that. I feel like I'm going to cry. Because this really got to me when I basically blamed myself. So I didn't know that. So when I went to like I said, I went to the sonogram, and they said, has he moved, 10 times in 2 hours? I said, I really don't count. I'm sorry. Yeah, he moved, but I never actually had to I never actually count the movements. And I feel bad, but I didn't. And with him, he's supposed to also do the breathing techniques in your belly. Like babies after 35 weeks, they're supposed to do breathing techniques. Back up. You're blinding me. They're supposed to do breathing techniques after 35 weeks. Basically breathing in the amniotic fluid and basically keeping themselves hydrated. Actually, I think it's after 21 weeks, because I saw in an article, I think yesterday, babe. Oh shit, I gave her name. I saw an article for Baby B. Cut this out. I saw an article for Baby B, babe, that they actually start breathing in now. The amniotic fluid to keep them self-hydrated. So I didn't know that. You know, we don't feel the breaths either. So, you know, I was afraid. I was like, is everything okay? Like, the sonogram tech started looking like she was getting nervous. And Anthony wasn't with me. He was with Cameron. And I'm starting to get a little scared. So they're like, okay, come on. We're going to go over to where your doctor is, and we're going to talk to your doctor. I was like, what's going on? Tell me what's going on. She said, I can't tell you much, but this is what I can tell you, is that he's not breathing on his own, and he's not moving. And when you hear that, and when you can't personally see your child, you think the worst, or something bad's going to happen. So that's what I was thinking the whole time. And I called Anthony. I was like, Anthony, you need to get here. You know, he's not breathing on his own. And he's like, what do you mean he's not breathing on his own? I said, he's not doing the breathing techniques. Remember I told you I was going 30 miles an hour like this? And he's like, babe, slow down. Did you see your doctor yet? And I said, no. I said, go see your doctor and then call me. I said, okay. So now I'm freaking out. And of course, my blood pressure's going to rise. So I went in to see the doctor, and the doctor checked my blood pressure. And no nurse came in. It was specifically doctor when the doctor came in. And I knew something was going on because usually a nurse comes in first, checks your blood pressure, takes your urine and stuff like that. They didn't even get my urine. They didn't even do nothing. Took my blood pressure, you know, checked my heart rate, and tried to hear the baby's heartbeat. When they heard the baby's heartbeat, my heart just dropped, and I was like, thank God. They found the heartbeat, but I didn't know how fast the heart was going. His heart was going over 200 beats per minute, and that's not good for a fetus. It's supposed to be in between 130 to about 160. His was over 200, so he was in distress. And the doctor's like, okay, Sabrina, listen. You're having signs of preeclampsia, but we're not worried about the preeclampsia. We're worried about the baby. And I was like, his name's Julian. His name is Julian. Okay, we're worried about Julian. Julian is not breathing on his own. He is not moving. I mean, he is moving, but he's not moving as much as we'd like. You need to go to the ER. You need to go L&D and get induced again. I was like, oh God, I hope he's gonna be okay. You know, my mind was going mom. The doctor literally pulled me aside and said, calm down. If he has a heartbeat, that means he's still okay. I was like, okay, at least, you know, he has a heartbeat. I started thinking about that. And I was like, I don't have a ride to a hospital. My boyfriend's out here, and my friend is about 30 minutes away. You know, I don't know what to do. He's like, would you like to wait for your friend? I was like, no, I want to get there now. I want to get to the hospital now and start, you know? So they called me an ambulance, and an ambulance brought me over to the hospital. And I called Anthony. I was like, in the ambulance, I was like, babe, I'm going over to Stony Brook. You need to come. And he goes, why? I was like, the baby's coming. He's like, no. I was like, the baby's coming now. So I suggest you, like, let's go. He didn't have to come this early. Okay? He could have came at frickin' 12 at night and still made it. Okay? But I was induced around when? What do you think? 12 in the afternoon? Because my appointment was in the morning. So about 12 in the afternoon, I believe, with Julian. And when I was going into the L&D, they're like, okay, Sabrina, you know the drill. Strip, take all your clothes off, opening to the back. Okay, I'm going to come in and start an IV. I was like, okay. So they started me on Pitocin around 12. And then I went into active labor, I'd say after 12 a.m. Around 12 a.m. You know, I hit 10 centimeters at about 1. I don't know, I hit 10 centimeters around 12:30, and I was ready to push at 12:45. It took me about 2 hours to get this child out. When I tell you, it was nothing compared to my first. I mean, nothing compared to it. I had pressure, I had cramps, I had pain in the back of my butt. I had pain going into my groin, pain in my chest. I had pain everywhere, okay? And finally, Anthony's like, I'm crying because I can't get this child out. I'm sweating. Anthony grabbed my hand, grabbed my face, and said, Sabrina, You got this. Do another push and get him out. Because at this point, with every contraction, his heart rate was dropping. The NICU was in to make sure that he was okay. Like, the NICU doctors were in to make sure he was okay, that he didn't have to go to the NICU. Because like I said, before he was born, they said why I had to be induced. So Anthony's like, baby, you're okay. Let's go. Let's do this. Do it like you did with Cameron. I said, I got this. Let's do this. So Anthony held one leg. The nurse held another. And I pushed all I could until I almost passed out. Literally, I felt like I was going to pass out. And he was out. Where I wasn't able to hear him. And Anthony was worried about me because I was crying, I was sweating and stuff like that. Like, I couldn't really breathe. And, you know, I was like, Anthony, go to him. I can't hear him. Is he okay? Is he okay? Like, I can't hear him. And he's like, Mama, and I hear nurses screaming to me, Mama, he's okay. He's okay. Don't worry. You'll see him in a second. Don't worry. He's still not crying. And it took him, it was the longest fucking 2 minutes of my life. The longest 2 minutes. Anthony, you tell him. How scared was I when he first came out that I didn't hear him?
Really?
I was like, babe, I can't hear him. He's like, Sabrina, shh, listen. And he's crying, like he's doing squeals, but I can't hear him because I'm freaking out. He's like, Sabrina, shh, listen. And I heard, and I heard it's crying. And I was like, oh my God, thank God. And I started bursting out in tears. The nurse wiped him up, washed him up, and brought him to me. So I held, and when they placed him on my chest and he was perfectly fine, I was so happy, you know. And I think the most amazing part of having Julian was seeing Cameron for the first time with our child. If you know Cameron, he is a destructive, loud, little 2-year-old at the time. Now he's 3. Child you could ever meet. He is wild. But when his brother was born, I asked Anthony numerous, where the hell did our child go? Numerous times. I said, baby, you like it, baby? But yeah, I love him. Yeah, I love him. I'll put a picture up right here of them first meeting. But all I kept hearing from him was, yeah, I love him. He's my baby brother. I love him. And then Daddy was like, you want to hold him with Mommy? You want to hold him with Daddy? And it was just amazing to actually see them together. With this pregnancy, though, little mama is just a ball of fun. You know, they say that pregnancies are totally different. It is. It is completely different than my 2 boys. You know, in the beginning, first trimester, I had no idea that I was pregnant because I had no symptoms. Now, everything I eat, I'm nauseous. I can't go lay on both my sides. I can't lay on my back, so now I'm like flipping and turning everywhere every night. Anthony has to
roly-poly.
Yeah, Anthony has to massage my back every night. I'm already showing signs of preeclampsia. You know, and my heartburn is just awful. I can't even have garlic knots. That's my favorite thing to eat. Garlic knots. You know, I can't have Chinese food. It makes me sick. What else makes me sick, babe? McDonald's now makes me sick. That's my story time, guys. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up. And if you're new, subscribe down below. And hit that notification button. If you guys want to hear more story times, please comment down below. And make sure you let me know what other videos you'd like to see. Remember, go with your heart, not your mind. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Hit me up if you're tryna break the distance.